Hi, my name's Steve Maskery and this is my workshop. If you've got a table saw, then you're probably aware of the dangers of kickback. Kickback can occur when the teeth at the back edge of the saw, which are rising and coming towards me, make contact with the workpiece between the fence and the saw blade and throw it back at me. It can happen in an instant and it can be very dangerous. I have a scar on my arm from my one and only table saw accident from 16 years ago. It was entirely my own stupid fault. I was cutting a piece of thin plywood without a riving knife. Yes, I know, I said it was my own stupid fault, but it hit me in the arm and I had a lump like on a Tom and Jerry cartoon, only I can assure you it was a lot less funny. Anything that we can do to reduce the risk of kickback is something that we should be doing. Now, most consumer grade table saws come with a long rip fence like this. It's great for support, isn't it? All the way along. The problem is that when you cut a piece of wood, as soon as the wood has gone past this front edge, the cut is complete. It's severed into two pieces. But when we're pushing it forward, it's not clear of the blade for another 6 inches or so. And that's when danger can strike, because this piece is now effectively loose. Unless I'm holding it down, it's free to go wherever it likes. It can't go this way because of the fence, and if it goes this way, it'll make contact with the blade and get thrown back. There is a way of reducing the risk of this happening, and that is to fit a short rip fence. Now this is mine. It's just made out of MDF. It's a tunnel. There's a pressure pad here, which is held in place with a couple of dowels, and two pressure plates. They're just knockouts from an electrical back box, and they take the pressure from these two Bristol levers, and that fits over my rip fence like that, and I can position it wherever I like. Now, the exact position of the short fence will depend upon the thickness of the workpiece that I'm cutting. So if it's 3/4 inch stock like this, that goes down to about there. And I want to position the end of the fence so that it is just beyond the last tooth that cuts the complete thickness. So about there. About there. And now, well, I've just got enough room to get my thin push stick down there. But this is a bit of a weakness with this. Once you start getting fairly narrow stock, there isn't enough room to get this in. So let's have a go. Now, did you see what happened there? The minute the cut was severed, with the workpiece stopped there, and only just beyond that, the workpiece came away from the blade, because there's all this space in here for it to move into. So I'm not going to get kickback because there's nothing pushing it against the blade. It's a much safer way of doing it. The downside at the moment is that as I get narrower stock, there isn't enough room to get a push stick in there conveniently. So good as this is, and I've had it about a year now, so I know how good it is, but I still think it can be improved upon. I'm going to attach a wide, low lip to the face of my existing short fence. This will give me more clearance for my push sticks when machining narrow stock. I've already lipped it with plastic laminate to give a smooth and hard-wearing surface. I'm using dominoes here, but you could just as well use biscuits, or even just screw it in place from inside before the rest of the fence is assembled. So that I can glue it in place, I'm having to remove the existing plastic laminate along the glue line. But I would be better with the fence flat on the table, making wider, shallow cuts, because I've got a great deal of breakout doing it this way. Of course, if you're making this from scratch, you won't have this problem. This is my modified fence. It works smashing. The only thing I did wrong when making it was to try and remove all the plastic laminate in a single high cut, because it chipped away very badly. So badly, in fact, that I'm too ashamed to leave it like that. I've rubbed some decorator's cork down the joint, and that hides it somewhat. So this now fits over my fence, and you can see straight away that there's a lot more space here for my push sticks, even the chunky one. Plenty of room to get that in there, even when machining quite narrow stock. So if I'm cutting this, which is getting a bit too narrow to work properly, but we'll just cut a shaving off the edge, like that, and position that about there, and apply pressure there. Even though this is quite narrow, and I normally wouldn't want to machine something as narrow as this to start with, I've now got plenty of space to use my push stick. Now I am going to have to reposition the scale rule on my rail here because it's now inaccurate. It was calibrated for the fence before, and I'm going to have to move it over by the thickness of this lip. But that's a job for later. Well, if you'd like to make that up for yourself, you can go to my website www.workshopessentials.com, and you can download for free plans to make it that you can print off on your computer and take into the workshop. And if you want any more of my ideas, I've got 2 DVDs brim full of them. Workshop Essentials, Jigs and Accessories. There are 2 volumes, and up until between now and Christmas 2007 they're very heavily discounted on special offer, so there's no excuse for every woodworker in the world not having this in their stocking on Christmas morning. Thanks for watching. Stay safe at your table saw and have fun in your workshop. Cheerio.